what actually changed. Eruptor can one-shot charger behemoths and various other monsters when facing southwest. Mostly because it has heavy pin, but also the shrapnel's pulling that direction. It's freaking amazing. Illuminate now have shields on the dropships, meaning the SAM sights you often do on those missions won't be as effective. The bot dropships no longer get one shot to the body by recoilless rifle, but if you use 2 rockets, you will. The engines are unchanged. You can still one shot with the recoilless rifle to the engine, 1 shot with E17, 2 shot with the anti-tank emplacement. That hasn't been affected one bit. What does that mean exactly? Folks can still kill bots before they land very easily. A convoy side objective of 5 factor stratters moving across a map in tandem. If they make it, you lose. If you take them all out before it happens, you win. One has a scrambler messing up stratagem inputs versus a jammer that blocks them all out. The spawn rates of enemies on certain seeds is drastically improved. Anecdotally speaking, I don't have 100% proof, but it seems insanely fun. For automatons, this was a pretty high kill game all across the board. And then for bugs, I wouldn't say it was insane numbers, but there was a grip of chargers and battle titans that I've never really seen before in tandem with tons of hunters. Really fun time. Barrage tanks have a weak spot being their missile silo. That thing, you know what I'm talking about? Battle titans can absolutely eat rocket shots to the face. Something with the hitbox being pushed back, you'll notice in this next clip that they're missing their face. Took a couple railgun shots and it just removed the... Hulks have the same feature and a new tech. They look straight down so you can't hit their front or back weak spot. Incernation Corps automatons have arrived. Shotgun shielding, choosing a cookout to one-shot you in your heavy fire resist armor from a decent distance away. Regular mobs are using a flamethrower now. Not a big deal if you have fire resist armor equipped. Hulks use incendiary grenades that do pretty good impact damage and create a fire patch wherever they land. Visually astonishing, and overall I do like that mob right there a lot. There does seem to be a new sponsored broadcast on the destroyer. The thick forest on Malevelon Creek poses an ordeal for Helldivers, and it's not too different back at home, except you have Manscaped to handle your forests and your 2 planets. With using the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, as seen as such, you can attach the skin-safe razor blades right there with the guard pushed back to help you not nick yourself. There is a foil attachment, which I've never seen for a hand trimmer. Foil razor in the middle here that is extremely skin safe, and on the 2 edges you have blades that are also kind of rounded, and the whole thing oscillates. See that? It moves. Using code ODO, you get 20% off international shipping, as well as 2 free gifts. One being this little baggy ratch here, the jewel pouch, and some chonies that are made from modal fabric. Big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring today's video. Shriekers are moving swiftly in a conga line, assassinating players left and right. Taken from our first line correspondents, Doodles.
Oh
wow.
My God.
Yeah, conga line, good luck.
They just no audio, all of a sudden 10 Shriekers.
You're no longer safe when laying down against Shriekers, and if 2 of them hit you, you're done. This is possibly because of the AI changes I'll be talking about a lot later in the video, timestamps below. The big back fabricator that spawns Hulks, the biggest of backs on the automaton front. They're broken the exact same way as a regular fabricator. Grenade in the vent, anti-tanks on the side, ultimatum, E17, quasar, recoilless rifle for sure, thermites, and other various means. Eagle smoke strike, a canister hits it, destroyed. Strafing run, it gets hit by that, destroyed, and they're massive, so missing it isn't really an option. Getting hit by gas inverts your controls for around a half second or so. You're walking forward, gas hits you, you walk backwards for that small duration of time. This could be beneficial against the enemies, since maybe it's interrupting their actions a lot earlier than it did before, but not ideal for the player. Grenade launcher seems to have only a 20-meter range. Not intended whatsoever. This is a clarified bug. Hopefully it gets fixed very soon, since I want to use it with the new hover pack expeditiously. AI changes have potentially broken the game something fierce. We've increased the number of AI calculations the game can perform. This primarily impacts scenarios with a high number of spawned enemies, improving their response times in those situations. However, this comes with a slight trade-off in game performance. If this affects our client-side rendering of what's happening, it broke the game immensely, because there's so many bugs related to your own client. You see a teammate walk around like an Italian diver, they're just a meatball, invisible, everything else except for their torso. That's not on their screen, it's just on your screen. And it doesn't affect everyone either. You have enemies that will look a certain way that your teammates can't see. Nursing Spear goes full on corn on the cob. That's just for you to see visually. You're hearing voices, and they're telling you and painting you weird pictures. They're not French models. Then you also have the issue with taking any objective that's carryable. Larvis, the larva in a jar. You have Egbert, the egg and the mega nest. If you carry those from those places to the dropship, your teammates physically can't see them. To your right. It's on the ground. It's got veins. It's very veiny. I'm not sure if they're there, and if they get close enough, they can pick it up. But they don't see it at all. Not on their minimap, not with their eyeballs if they're looking around, but you see it. It's weird. Then you have enemies spawning directly underneath you, because if you're on high ground against the bugs, for instance, they will crawl. They'll burrow underground and crawl to get to you. That's happening to players when they're simply standing on flat ground. The Shriekers are also likely hitting you on the ground because they think that you're higher than you actually are. That's the only thing that makes sense, because nothing else change-wise really checks out. And it literally says, this comes with a slight trade-off in game performance. I think it's a massive trade-off, and they should likely revert these changes. Stratagems are now organized when making your loadout. Orbitals, eagles, support weapons, down to your emplacements, mortars, and sentries. I will say one thing's messed me up a lot, and that is the Stalwart is in the middle of machine gun and HMG. In my mind, I'm thinking light, medium, heavy, or heavy, medium, light. Diligence has 5 more rounds per magazine, and it feels really good. I don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying it a ton versus automatons on Super Helldive. Slugger, reduction of spread is noticeable. Shots are much more fluid to hit, way more consistent. The damage increase, I like it, but I can't notice it too much. HMG right here would be giving me a white hit marker before, but now angle deflection is reduced, it's red. Kill time doesn't seem too improved though. The Versacharger here, it's about a half magazine to kill it. So do with that what you will. Breaker has 10 spare magazines. Not sure why, but I'm down because it makes a weapon that I otherwise wouldn't take an option, not because it's super strong. It's just got a lot of quality of life. Ammunition in this game is quality of life. I feel like they could do some more experimentation with things of this nature in future updates. Ragdolling feels a little extra again. I'm pretty far from the tank, it explodes, it should normally knock me down, not into a different stratosphere. Did score a goal though, we'll give it that. If you stem yourself before you go to aim, you can get this awesome view where you have far less visual clutter and the shots can be landed, even with no reticle. I like this bug a lot. Stalwart with 10 extra damage is essentially unnoticeable for me. I wasn't a Stalwart one-trick pony, so there's maybe a reason for that. But overall, the gun's really fun to use right now, and I think a big portion of that is the eruptor buffs. Having a primary weapon that does big damage allows Stalwart to pop off more. Reprimand seems more accurate. With spread, there's RNG involved on these shots. I am missing some on the leg joints, even though the red reticle never leaves them. And that's intended. They want to have small barrel SMGs such as that not be as accurate. Defender's 5 damage increase is not exactly knocking doors off their hinges, hitting some pretty weak mobs here, except for the Overseer. That thing is country-fed, corn-grown. Absolutely tanky, bit of a beef boy. But aside from that, you're not pumping damage. With Tenderizer, it feels slightly better, which is kind of how it goes for some of these things, but even then, I'm not sure if I can actually tell a difference. I wish the devs almost would tell us, they'd say, go play some weapons and let us know what feels different. And then report back. Knight SMG with another 5 damage increase. A DLC weapon that not many folks have, and again, one that I didn't discern a difference with after shooting some pretty weak mobs. It one-shots. Oh! It one-shots Wilburs. Adjudicator 5 damage increase. I can't tell if I'm one-shotting Wilburs more consistently with this, or if it was always the case before that you could do that. Pummeler is currently bugged. It's supposed to take less shots to stun enemies, but at the moment it requires more. It does not feel good because of that. I do want to see what you can do in terms of loadouts and builds once they fix the stun ratio. Team play, all that good stuff. What can you actually make use of the weapon with once it works properly? If it stuns quickly, or quick enough, I could see some value coming from that. Don't believe I missed that much. Sterilizer has better ergonomics, Patriot exosuit and the Emancipator exosuit have an extra use, as well as the rocket pods get an extra use. That should cover all the important details in the patch notes and some of the bugs I've run into or heard about. Overall, the update is actually a ton of fun. I'm having a blast playing against the bugs using eruptor versus chargers, being able to one-shot them. It's just nice for the time being. On the bot front, rocking the Diligence, which I didn't expect to enjoy. And I think a big portion of my enjoyment is coming from different seeds. Seems like I'm having an easier time stumbling upon seeds that aren't made up of a bunch of enemies I don't like facing. I'm getting Berserker seeds on automatons, which equate to a bunch of enemies, higher kill counts, dopamine rush. Bugs, I'm seeing hunters, tons of chargers, and battle titans on the same seed, and I live for that. Anywho, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Laters.